Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action.
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecies, where nuclear weapons will be used so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity in one world government. And I'm telling you, unless the American people wake up and stop the Battle of Armageddon and become reality.
That we're going to experience what we've never imagined.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media's College Night of Nights here on this wonderful Thursday night as Real Deal Media Live is here, as you can see, burning down the house with some of my compadres who'll be here shortly. I am Dean Ryan, still Dean Ryan after all this time. Tonight we had an entirely different show lined up for all of you out there, but as you know, there's always a party pooper, in this particular one lives in Israel, named Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been chomping at the bit for quite some time to have that war with Iran and stay out of prosecution in his own hometown there. And that's where we are right now. We have now witnessed a huge preemptive strike on Iran because they could, they might, they should, they might have weapons of mass destruction. Where have we heard this rhetoric before? Oh, wait, it was from the same guy in the run-up and the build-up to the Iraq War. Who recalls that? When Mr. Devil Ears over there, who makes Marco Rubio's ears look like little baby ones, he's just ruining the fun for everybody here tonight. So I've had to redo the show 3 times. And now we're going to have a little different kind of a Thursday night because of him. Yes, we are. So we're going to still have fun at his expense here tonight. And I have brought some incredible people who I will be introducing to you here shortly. But let me just get to this now. We're going to be venturing into as burning down the house doesn't just mean burning down LA, New York, Chicago, DC, Seattle for that fact. It's burning now the Middle East. That's right. The Middle East, as now everything is launching in a preemptive strike. It's just happened. We'll be talking about that. I will also get into some massive internet outages, cripples dozens, as it now has crippled dozens of websites. And how many of you out there have had your devices seem to be working or not working, going all over the place? Or I've heard so many people say their phones are charging at a snail's pace. There might be a reason for the season. We'll look into that. Plus, Peter Thiel was accosted over there in Bilderberg. Who remembers that? The Bilderberg Festival. We'll get into that as he's the guy who's taken on Palantir. Yeah, the wonderful Israeli tech and just how wonderful the Israelis have been to us. Let's just take a moment of silence just to reflect on that. Thank you, God. Aside from that, we're also getting into John Fetterman's personal life as he's now snubbing his wife. Yes, he is. And something weird is going on with that big old oaf, that clone there. And CNN is getting rid of Anderson Cooper. We'll get into that. And the drag queens are making a comeback. That's what they're saying. We'll get into all of that, plus some major updates on the riots happening across the country, in particular LA, with a major politician who, he was told to exit a room and they picked him up and threw him out head first. So we'll show you that footage. Quite stunning. Anyways, but it wouldn't be Real Deal Media Live here tonight without you, the viewers out there. We're going to take your questions, comments, concerns, open up the lines, possibly, potentially. But also, we're also going to be enjoying the festivities of tonight with a few people, a little help from my friends. All the way from Ontario, Canada, the sleuth, the one, the only Rebel Mama. Thank you for being here tonight. Filling in for Jon Bowne. Yes. Thank you for filling in for Jon Bowne last minute, who is stuck on a road, caught in a trap, and he can't get out. I'll say, let's get into next one, all the way from the creepy state of Connecticut, where a elementary school never existed. The one, the only, Hartford's favorite, Sean Gregorian. Sean, are you there? Sean, there you are. And how good does Sean look? Sean Gregorian looks good tonight, doesn't he, Marnie?
He does. Well, it's hard to keep up with Miss Piggy, so he had to, clean up his act.
He looks really stunning. He's glowing, like something's different in his life. I don't know what it is.
No, he does look good. Did you get a haircut, Sean?
Yeah. We'll figure it out. He's a little shy and he's on mute too as well. So we'll figure out why he is glowing tonight at some point in the show. Okay, there we have it. All right, thank you very much. Now let's get into a few headlines from around the world, as tonight is really just, we are starting off on some kind of foot. Well, let's get into it now. Let's a little change of pace, different gears, as you heard there from the demonic leader himself, Netanyahu. Well, Israel, the greatest friend you could ever have for a country, has now launched a preemptive strike on Iran. Nuclear sites, military targets, people familiar with the matter have said. Well, dozens and dozens of Israeli aircraft participated in the initial wave of strikes on dozens of military targets. Just in time, right when America was bogged down. How lovely. And Iranian officials have yet to say anything of significance, or have they? Well, warning signs have been set off to get the public ready for potential Iranian counterattacks of ballistic missiles on Israel. And that's what they want, to get us in our footprint in the Middle East and that dirty sand once again. Well, the IDF has not stopped attacking since the initial wave. No, they're attacking right now. The Prime Minister Netanyahu, the fake Jewish guy from Poland, well, he stated Iran is gearing up to produce tens of thousands of ballistic missiles, which could kill millions of Israelis, and even without nuclear weapons. But imagine if any of them had nuclear weapons on them. Well, how about this genius, whoever wrote this at the Jerusalem Post? How about the big old secret, the big old Jewish elephant in the room is that Israel has nukes? What are you, stupid? In fact, here it is. Let's see how Jesse Waters is putting it all together. Yes, the blowhard of Fox News. Listen to him.
Reported in Tehran, the capital, which would be a big escalation in the war in the Middle East. Axios is reporting that Israel is also bracing for a retaliatory strike. Israel's declaring a special state of emergency across the country. And Axios had also reported that Trump had refused U.S. participation. We'll keep you updated as we hear more.
See, that's just it. He refused participation. This is why the entire assassination of last summer, the attempt, it was all orchestrated by Netanyahu, who then goes to the UN and says, well, if Trump dies, hold on. If Trump dies, we get my demonic Netanyahu ears. Piece of shit he is. Yeah, he's behind it. If Trump dies, we be cowards if we don't fight Iran. Speaking of what, I do kind of have that going here tonight. That looks creepy. I do apologize. Just saw myself in the monitor. Whew. Anyways, but here it is. This is what I'm talking about.
ساعت الان 3:37 دقیقه ورودی فرحزاده پایین یه ساختمان مسکونی زده شده.
Thank you. Yeah, there's some more evidence of what this is now encountering. So this is happening now. Let me tell you more about it because I'm just so thrilled. So you got the senior defense over there at the Israeli IDF just hallways. He said Friday morning, as late as Friday morning, but as early as of today, that an increasing possibility that Iranian high command, including Iran's military chief and Iran's senior nuclear scientists, have been killed in the preemptive strike. Now, I could go on, and we could get in the specifics of it, but this all comes back down to Albert Pike's, prediction that Israel was created, as Will Cooper told us. Yes, Israel was created to be the ignition, the sparking point of World War III for the next World War, to get us into the global world order, to sink all the religions around the world. That's why they moved back the red heifer seances, but also it was created to blow up themselves. But also, this is what's going to happen. They're going to get attacked. They're going to get hurt bad. They're going to play victim to get us into their war once again. And they're going to play on Trump's base and force Donald Trump in this country into their war once again, just like they did in Iraq. Just like they've been trying to do for years. And I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of that country. What say you out there? What say you? Tell me what you're thinking. And also, now let me tell you more about this. Now, get this now. IDF expects operations against Iran to last for several days, but this is what they do all the time. So they're saying it could last for several days, and then you have Netanyahu, it will last until the threat is eradicated. What the hell does that mean? That means forever. The greater Israeli project to own all of the Middle East. They're not going to do it. And Trump's going to say, you're on your own. Now, the Israeli military expects its operations against Iran's nuclear program and long-range missile capabilities will last for maybe several days, maybe more. And who the hell cares? Who's counting? Well, I bet you they would know if we stopped funding them. I bet you that's the case. Well, the IDF is preparing for heavy fire in response to the airstrikes earlier. And here's a quote from the geniuses over there who have a death wish. Quote, we are in the window of strategic opportunities. We have reached the point of no return, and there's no choice but to act now, an IDF official says. I agree. We are past the point of no return. He got that right. But guess what? I'm not going past the Rubicon straight into the pits of hell. They're dragging us there. Yes, we are. We're well aware of that. Now, here's what little Marco Rubio says. Here's the other, here's the Netanyahu ears of the West here. Mr. Big Ears, Mr. Bathhouse Marco. who is so evil, but there's a quality or two that's, well, check this out. This is what, let me tell you what Marco Rubio just said moments ago. The Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State, little Marco Rubio, says Israel took, quote, this is huge, everybody. I'm sweating like a, you know what? Israel took, quote, unilateral action against Iran. Wow. That's very telling. Tonight, stressing that the U.S. was not involved and warning that Tehran should not target the U.S. in response. Our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for their self-defense. He continued by saying further, President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with regional partners. Let's be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interest or personnel. Israel did it, not us. Well, that's a little, I feel a bit more secure now. My night might have been saved after reading all of that. Let's bring in some of our chaps here in chapettes, I guess I should say. Let's bring in Sean Gregorian. Let's bring in Rebel Mama. Let's start with you, Marnie, over there in Canada. You could see my anger, my pet peeves are all being achieved here tonight, but who would have thought Marco Rubio made me feel just a little better? What say you over there, Marnie? Because Canada has taken a stance that we don't want any of this stuff.
Well, I can't help but think it's deny, deflect, deny, deflect. And 2 weeks from now, we'll find out that, oh, yeah, the U.S. knew all about it and just said, try to keep us out of it as long as you can, and we'll be there to bail you out when you're done. I don't trust any of these people.
Well, we're positioned there, but I don't think Iran's dumb enough to attack the U.S. I think, see, this is the problem. Here's why this happened. Trump was close to having a deal with Iran, of diplomacy. And Sean, you know this to be true. We were close to having it, and just conveniently, just like every time there's a two-state solution, every time there's a peace agreement, it was the Muslims that just they forced our hand. We had no choice. No, this was preemptive. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Well, when you look at what Trump said yesterday, what came out yesterday just reinforces
Tell me.
it. Look at, he said something to the effect, let me get it right now, that he didn't know what happened. He used the word crazy like he did with Putin, and immediately denied that China was the reason that the talks fell apart. But he said, I don't know what happened to them. Everything was going so well. And now I'm not nearly as optimistic. That's what he said.
Who said this?
Trump. In a press conference.
He's not, okay.
Not
He's
nearly
not optimistic with Iran?
Nope,
okay.
Not anymore. He said that yesterday, and he used the crazy word again like he did with Putin. He's gone crazy. They've gone crazy.
They've gone
crazy. It was on an interview with, I think, CNN.
Well, here's some more images and footage just coming out of Iran and this preemptive attack, and it's all very nostalgic and deja vu of the Iraq War. Yeah, well, see, how are they supposed to? Okay, is this really, Sean? Is this really just about, what we've learned from Albert Pike and all these different things here? Is this really just about, Netanyahu's insecurities? I don't think it is. I think he needs to wag the dog to stay out of the gulags of Israel. Because, John, do you think we're going to be going to war? Is Trump really going to sacrifice the Americans in our sovereignty and his political will that he still has left to be Netanyahu's best buddy? Because I don't think he will. I think he's going to maneuver out of this brilliantly, is my guess.
Yeah, I don't think so. But like you touched on, this is a lot bigger than just Israel and Iran. I mean, this brings in possibly China, Russia, other Muslim countries. It's not just about these two countries. I think Bill Cooper was right. This brings a big domino effect that could just turn into an international shitstorm.
Sean, that's the most profound thing. You got it right, because Marnie, this is exactly what it is. Is Iran is backed by China and Russia. We're on the just prefaces of having a peace deal with these people. I mean, for anyone to say, "Oh, it can't be possible," well, look, we fought in the Vietnam War. We lost 60,000 people because of so-called communism, and now Vietnam is one of the greatest tourist destinations that Americans go to. China is one of the biggest business partners, and everybody has their business there. So, why is diplomacy so bad? Marnie, what is wrong with a little peace, love, and understanding? To quote Elvis Costello. Go ahead, Marnie.
I think this has all just come to a head. It's over 100 years of nonsense, and we've just gotten past that point. If you look at the casualties, you could add up World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, everything, and they wouldn't even come close to the number of people that have died since COVID hit. If you include the biological weapons and the
That's good.
economic disaster, but none of them are even close. We're already three-quarters, like we're way past all of them already. It's just a kinetic warfare here. We're not used to kinetic warfare. They're hitting us with everything else.
Yes, they are, and we have so much a bit more to get to. But here's a few comments I want to touch upon here. We have Kimberly Kim Kemp saying, "Please, this is getting biblical." Yes, Sean, it reminds me of that old song of "Let's Get Biblical." Biblical. She started it. Okay, Dame Pam says, "I sense there will be a massive cyber attack soon, and those internet outages around different parts of the world." We're going to touch upon that soon in our next segment or two. And they're going to blame Iran for it. They're already putting out. Isn't it interesting how they had the fake, the Al Qaeda guy, which is always ran by the CIA and Mossad, saying, "We will bomb Iran, or we will bomb the U.S. and kill President Trump." It was the most. It was just a horrible, horrible, horrible segment of horseshit I've ever seen. We've seen it before. We have Claudine saying, "Destroy humanity and money." We also have, we have Egyptian princess says, "Dean is right. Israel was going to jail Bibi, another false flag." Oh, absolutely. And his former defense minister, Egyptian princess, was saying just that he didn't want the hostages to be released. There was a stand down order of October 7th over there in Israel. And then all the people who were fleeing that festival were shot by the IDF. Because they were the people that wanted a two-state solution. Yeah, there's no conspiracy here. Theory. There's conspiracy reality. All right, stand by there. Thank you, guys. Hold that thought here. Okay, let's continue here now with a few more headlines here around the world. Well, just that you might have heard about the massive internet outage. I'm telling you, my phone has been going haywire. My computer has been more haywire than usual. And it's affecting my health because of the blood pressure that comes with this. Well, now an apparent internet service outage has disrupted operations on countless major websites, including but not limited to Google, Spotify, Amazon, Google services, and probably some other ones we've yet to figure it out. Well, just around, starting yesterday, starting today, midday, outage monitoring services, downdetector.com reported widespread service disruptions across commonly used platforms like Snapchat, YouTube, and many social media users reporting difficulty accessing several sites. And don't I know it? Some notable web services experiencing disruptions will continue into the worlds of Spotify, Discord, Google Maps, Amazon Web Services, Cloudflare, Snapchat, YouTube, OpenAI, Character AI, Fubo TV, Etsy, Vimeo, UPS, Shopify, Microsoft, Verizon, AT&T, Google Gemini, DoorDash, must I continue, Twitch, and I'm sure QVC.com too, for those who like to shop. Nobody knows what it is. It's subsequently updated, a glitch. Nobody knows what it is. No, we know what it is. We know this is another tactic to say it's Iran. We're not stupid. We're born at night, and you know the rest. Okay, so yeah, it's happening. That's the other one we have to be just open about. Forget all the riots and all the just domestic dramas happening here. Now we have another drama from the a-holes of the Middle East continuing just to make our lives just horrible, horrible. Well, speaking of that, another horrible demonic-like figure who is American in this case, well, that's Peter Thiel. I don't know if you heard about this. Now, Peter Thiel was just gallivanting recently. He was caught at the Bilderberg conference. Yes, he was. Vulture capitalist Peter Thiel ignored questions over Palantir's proposed spying network in ties to Jeffrey Epstein outside of the Bilderberg conference in Sweden just Thursday. Yes, he was. I'll try to play that for you if we can, but independent journalist Mr. Dan Dix confronted Thiel. I'll try to find that, walking outside, and asked him, quote, Mr. Thiel, do you have any comments about Palantir's surveillance of the American people or any of your connections to Jeffrey Epstein? And he had no comment. He had no comment on that, but he is the reason we're going to be in our gulag soon, too, if he has his way. Yeah, we are fighting the Bolshevik Revolution, no doubt about it. I'm just getting real sick of it here. Okay, well, here's something interesting. We're going to get our take from our panelists here tonight. Well, there's been a big breakthrough of the Matrix over there in LA. Well, the incredibly salacious and sensual Kristi Noem was giving a conference when she was just given a lot of stress by one of the local Democrats, just totally out of line, doesn't know his place in the pecking order. In fact, it was caught on TV earlier. Here's a little clip of the dramas that unfolded as a California senator showed us what a boob he totally is and what a just goddess that Kristi Noem was trying to be. And he ruined it.
Protests that started in Los Angeles against the Trump administration's immigration crackdowns are expanding to other cities. Meanwhile, the head of Homeland Security says the unrest will not stop ICE agents from carrying out deportation raids. Elise Preston has the latest, including the removal of a U.S. representative during a Homeland Security news conference.
Secretary, I want to know why you insist
so I want
on
to say thank you to
exaggerating
every single person that has been able to do this.
Hands up, hands up.
Federal agents forcibly removed California Senator Alex Padilla from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's news conference in Los Angeles Thursday after he interrupted her.
I'll have a conversation with him and visit and find out really what his concerns were. I think everybody in America would agree that that wasn't appropriate.
A spokesperson for Padilla says he was handcuffed at one point but is not currently detained.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers.
Noem went to Los Angeles in support of the Marines and National Guard troops the Trump administration called in to protect federal buildings and personnel in Los Angeles as anti-ICE protests continue.
I want to thank the Marines, the National Guard, our soldiers, our military men and women who have shown up here to help make sure that we have security.
The Trump administration says of the hundreds of undocumented migrants arrested in the LA area since operations began on Friday, about a third have prior criminal records. At an event Thursday, President Trump acknowledged the toll his immigration policy is having on the farming and hotel industries.
You know, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that.
The president said changes will be coming, but did not elaborate.
A judge was scheduled to hear a lawsuit today over the Trump administration's.
All right, he can shut up. Okay, let's bring in the others here and get a little spin on this, if you know what I'm saying. Sean, I think Trump really shared some sentiment that a lot of Americans feel that, there's a lot of, there are some good people that are just undocumented. It's a broken system, but their case of that narrative is totally being mocked and made a mockery of by total dumbheads like that California senator who is totally fake crying, totally acting. And this is what the Democrats are doing to play on the heartstrings of Californians and the rest of the world, because ultimately they're asking for international help. But Sean, is anybody buying the fake crocodile tears of the Democrats right now? Or do people really just want a safer country with undocumented out?
Well, I mean, all you need is a simple YouTube search, and you could find Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton talking about how they're going to get tough and crack down on illegal immigration. And we didn't hear any complaints from Democrats about that. But now that an administration is doing something about it, all of a sudden it's demonized. If we look at other countries, they all have immigration rules. Many of them are much stricter than the United States. And ironically, Mexico has a very strict immigration policy, especially about Guatemalans who want to come into their country. You know, they hate them, and they despise them. They don't want them in their country at all, but yet they just want a revolving door of people coming across the border here. You know, my great grandfather came from Lithuania in 1902. He was illiterate, and he managed to get into this country legally. And, you know, many of us are grandchildren and great grandchildren of people who came here legally. That's just the way it has to be done.
Well, Marty, I want to ask you and get your take on it. But Mike Adams, who has been witnessing and monitoring this as well, he sent us a exclusive little take on this, and he's really put some words together about exactly some of the terrorism homegrown that's happening right here as we speak. Check this out.
While lots of people are familiar with the concept of FAFO, far fewer people are familiar with the more important concept of the FAFO ratio. What is the ratio of FA to FO? As an example, in blue states like California and cities like Los Angeles, where law enforcement are not even allowed to do their jobs, you have a very high FA with a very low FO ratio. So a lot of FA only earns you a small amount of FO, and that results in the generation of high FA, low FO mofos that run around the city trying to set everything on fire. You'd be far better off to live in a state like Texas, where just a little bit of FA will earn you a whole lot of FO. And when you have low FA, high FO, kind of like a low FA diet, low FA, high FO, you end up with very little crime because nobody wants to FO just from a little bit of FA. So check out where you live and support law enforcement right now as we try to quell all this violence nationwide. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Adams, the Health Ranger.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, just to translate, that stands for freak around, find out.
Marty, that's a hard act to follow. What the hell did we just watch there? But go ahead and take a stab at the faux king of Mike Adams. But he does have he does have a point of, I think people this go around compared to 2020 are kind of supporting their local support your local sheriff. You know, I mean, do you see it that way too? Because this is a very this is a very folking weird, isn't it?
It is, but you know what? I think he's on to something, because the American people are armed, especially in the red states. Right?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Okay, so the blue states are going to fold, crumble, and burn. And let's face it, a lot of them are in pretty bad shape, and it might be cheaper to rebuild than to try to fix up. And the red states, places like Texas especially, and Florida, where they've been given the green light to defend themselves and others, well, you're going to see the patriots stand up behind the military, and those people are not going to get far at all. So I think it's the blue states we really have to worry about. I don't think the reds are going to be a problem, because they're going to get squished like a bug by the patriots.
Here's some other angles of the altercation that happened with the Democrats. They're all trying to act like tough guys now. They're all trying to not be betas anymore when the cameras are on. It's so sickening, Sean. It's actually re-pissing me off all over again. Here's another angle.
Guys, ready? And balancing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary. Because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been docked?
On the ground. On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, I put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here.
I do not know.
There's no recording allowed out here per FBI regs for the building.
So what, I'm sorry?
There's no recording allowed out here.
That's my boss. I have to
There's no recording allowed out
out
here. You can record. There's no recording allowed out here.
I'm not a member
There's
of
no
the press.
recording allowed.
There's no recording. Oh, sorry, that was me. Well, here's what we know now. Here's what we know. And Marnie, we'll go back to you and we'll ask the audience. Well, apparently Padilla, the Democratic scumbag from California, well, here's what really happened. This is from a source who's sort of and definitely may be familiar with the matter. Well, apparently Padilla failed to wear his vetted security pin. A serious breach, not an oversight, a serious breach of security. It raises questions of control, intent, dare I say, staging. Yeah, there's a lot of staging, and I said staging and not saging, but obviously some saging's needed around these neck of the woods, aren't they? Here are some people we have. We have Seth Black, who is chiming in here. He's saying he's a day laborer. Nobody's feeling bad for him. Yes, he did. Yeah, Seth Black, who is former Army, he said, I did jobs that George Bush said Americans don't want to do. That's true. That's true. And we will celebrate you for that. Here's another one. We have Kenny 59B over there on Rumble. Yay, I'm way out of the country, but I see the chimtrails. Chimney, chim chiroo. Yes, you do. Here we have Manny Lynn, who's crying because of Mike Adams, aren't we all? Blue Sky says Mike lost me with the first foe. Can we watch that one more time just for a second, please? I couldn't understand that, Mike. And call in and tell me where we're getting it wrong.
While lots of people are familiar with the concept of FAFO, far fewer people are familiar with the more important concept of the FAFO ratio. What is the ratio of FA to FO? As an example, in blue states like California and cities like Los Angeles, where law enforcement are not even allowed to do their jobs, you have a very high FA with a very low FO ratio. So a lot of FA only earns you a small amount of FO, and that results in the generation of high FA, low FO mofos that run around the city trying to set everything on fire. You'd be far better off.
Thank you. He literally sent that to me before we went live here, and I didn't really screen that. Okay.
It was kind of poetic.
It was like when he did the tyranny and yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we have a break coming up here. Here is Neil Smith says, Dean, your mic is celebrating Pride Month.
It does look like a lava lamp, Dean. It's wonderful. It changes color and everything. I thought you were trying to find your spiritual, center or something.
Hey, Neil, the way I look at it, that's sorbet. That's Italian ice cream. So that's how I see it. And I didn't know it until I got it, but it's too late. And yes, Egyptian princess at Mike. And Melinda says, Mike is too gangster for me. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And Real General says, yes, he's an MC rapper delight. Yeah, he is. Okay. We got to break. Twilight, I agree. Yeah, this is a classic Mike Adams. Yeah, yes, it is. Okay, we have a break coming up here. Stand by, everybody. When we get back here, God, where's my wits? When we get back here, we have some human interest stories to tell you about, stemming from John Fetterman, who's actually subhuman, or some say more human than human. He's having some dramas in the LBC over there in Philadelphia. We'll look into that. Plus, we're going to be saying hasta luego as I'm crying, to Anderson CIA Cooper, whose $18 million annual paycheck is going the way of the Israeli buffalo at this point. And we'll tackle the Ozempic addiction. And men, after that, we're going to talk about beards. Beards. And do women still like beards? Are beards still trendy? But here's the more important question. Are beards cleanly? Or are they just trendy? We'll find out as you're watching Real Deal Media Live right here, burning down the house. You said it. Okay, stand by here, and we're ready to go. Stand by. We'll be back after. Yes, we see two friends, more importantly, mother and son hanging out, listening to the riots on the ground, the crazy Democrats barging through. You are loved. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Real Deal Media Live here on Thursday. Our incredible college nights, casual, not first class, but business class. Can you imagine that? Imagine that. Tonight is brought to you by Real Deal Go. We got to do to keep these broadcasts going. Send a message to the man. Go to givesendgo.com/Real Deal Go. Because we don't get paid by big pharma, not even little pharma, but by the people, for the people. That's true. And are you a night owl? Well, the revamped website is ready to go. And I heard echoes of rumors that the summer collection is coming next week, everybody. And that is a very, very celebrated, wonderful store items that you and your loved ones are going to love for the beach, for cruising down the boulevards, you name it. All you got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv. Just go to realdealmedia.tv. Don't miss the opportunity now. Okay, let's continue and let's bring back the one, the only Sean Gregorian, all the way from Connecticut and all the way from Ontario, Canada, Marnie, Rebel Mama. Okay, everybody, we are back. So we have some things to get into here, and that's going to bring us to some real deal showbiz. Are you ready for this? And Bieber is on the chopping block first. Let's talk about it. Tell him what they want. 5 day cruise. Real deal showbiz. Well, there's a lot to talk about in the world of Diddy, but you can't think about the Diddy trial without a missing character from it. That's Justin Bieber. That's right. Justin Bieber, who's now saying that nothing happened with him. And we just read yesterday in a segment last night on last night's show that, well, his wife, Haley Bieber Baldwin, is actively trying to take conservatorship. And where have we seen this before? But let's find out a bit more about it. Marty, I know you've been paying attention to this topic and this story and for quite some time here. What is going on in the world of Bieber and Diddy?
Well, I think somebody got to Justin to shut him up, but I'm a little bit more concerned about the Baldwin side of things because we just discovered that his wife Haley was a founder of a cosmetic company that was just sold for $1 billion to ELF. And her other investor, shall we say, was the person that produced all of Justin Bieber's videos. Last name is, it sounds a lot like Ratskin, but it's not. It's something very similar. It's in the article there. It looks like it's him and his daughter were the other two partners. So she's suddenly come into a heap of money. And my question, and I think you know the answer to this, Dean, and if not, Frankie might. How trustworthy is the father-in-law? That would be Alex's brother.
So the father, so Stephen Baldwin, who's the father of Haley. Okay, yeah, Stephen Baldwin, who's gone radically silent lately. And Sean, Sean, that's a great question, Sean. You've been a fan of the Baldwin brothers their whole career. Where is Stephen Baldwin on the that totem pole of importance? Can he not get work anymore? Does he have to rob Bieber once again?
It's entirely possible. I think there's a bigger story here than we know. I'm waiting. Why is Usher not being dragged into this more? Because Usher is a key player with the Bieber story.
Good question. Actually, Usher just gave testimony days ago, and he literally said, yeah, he was attacked. He said all the things we knew about Puff Daddy for that fact. And he's cooperating, and he's turned on Diddy like never before. But where do you see this going, Marty? Before we get to Fetterman and his lapse of judgment with his wife, what's going to happen to Bieber? Are they going to off him? Are they going to put him away at Rikers Island like Wendy Williams?
They're kind of doing a combo: part Kanye, part Britney, and hopefully not part Aaron Carter.
Oh my God!
Because that's the way this is looking. And they're making him look like he's crazy. He's putting out posts that make him look like he's completely deranged.
That's right.
I don't know.
This is what they do before they kill you, Sean. Do you think they're going to off Bieber? Are we seeing the last days? You want to make a predicament or prediction rather?
Well, I mean that could be why he's kind of backing away from this. You never know. I mean, we see there's been a lot of suspicious celebrity deaths. I don't believe him that nothing happened or he doesn't know anything. The connections with Usher and other players and all this debauchery. I think he definitely was subjected to some things that he doesn't want to talk about.
Or that he's not capable of talking about right now.
Yeah.
I think that might be a lot of it.
Well, didn't the guy from the First Direction, One Direction, he was killed. They made him look crazy. They drug these people up. They get into their inner circles, then they drug them up. Well, speaking of drug up, look at this case here. Now we have John Fetterman, who is another guy I think the Democrats want to take out because that's what Democrats do best. They just make people's lives horrible before they kill you. I'm sure, yes, the Republicans do. But here it is. John Fetterman snubs wife Giselle on their own wedding anniversary as he dines with MAGA power player. This is, he's with Steve Bannon going to the Golden Corral, if not Arby's, if I know Steve Bannon correctly. So are we going to see John Fetterman get rid of his Democratic lapel pin and go full Republican at this point? Because
I
that's what
think
it's turning out to be
Fetterman's
here.
a non-issue. This is just a little miniature distraction, somebody trying to get some attention in all the fray.
Well, apparently his wife thinks he's a non-issue too. They're going to be divorcing soon. So very good point here. Here we have Maddie Lynn, who says maybe they're trying to make him look cray to avoid to testify in the Diddy case or others. Well, there's an angle I didn't think about. Thank you very much.
I figures it was Maddie.
I know.
She's good. She's good.
Yes, she is. Here's Dame Pam. Grape leaves and young tender nettle leaves and spinach recipes. Well, that's another. See what Mike Adams inspired.
I was wondering about that. I'm so glad that they said that.
We're all wondering. We all have a little poem or two, a little haiku just around the corner. Here we have Seth Black is, Seth, thank you. Fetterman is flipping, everybody. And why that's important, because that's a big congressional seat over there in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a huge swing state, right? It's a swing state, Pennsylvania. Yes. Seth, that was very good. No more points for the rest of the night. You two on the money here tonight. Okay, and let's get into this one now, because I didn't know Haley Baldwin was that diabolical. That changes everything.
Well,
here's something here. Go ahead, tell me.
I sent you a clip that is incredibly creepy.
Really?
Let me see if I can grab it again. Just a sec here. It was
of Haley of a
it's
potion.
A very short. Yeah.
Tell us about it. I'll play it here in a minute. Tell us
it's
about this creepy clip.
self-explanatory. It's pretty self-explanatory. Trust me.
Okay, so apparently she's a witch. She's a witch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we all know they have plenty of those.
All right, here it is. Here's Haley Baldwin, aka or hyphen Bieber, apparently doing some black magic on her husband, and they just had a baby too. I never saw her pregnant, by the way. Not that I'm looking constantly, but here it is.
Okay, so last but not least, this is a little tincture potion that I got. I would say probably when I was around 12, my dad flew me to go meet with this witch who lived in the mountains, and she made this specifically for me. She told me that it would make a young Canadian pop star fall in love with me. So yeah, I've been taking this one for years. Absolutely love it. And yeah, thanks, Dad.
Wow.
Yeah, self-explanatory and creepy.
Yeah, and she's taking the potion too.
Mm-hmm.
The tincture. That is creepy. I'm glad.
A witch up in the mountains. So we know where Dad stands, because it wasn't her uncle that sent her there. It was Dad.
Yeah, it was. Amazing Faces says, burn her. She's a witch. Well, let's not get too excited too fast. Okay,
We can pour water on her and make her melt.
Yeah, we have Bonnie Olson saying Fetterman is still pissed his family went skiing without him. He's in the hospital with a big lump on his neck. Is he really? That's terrible. That's terrible. We want to keep Fetterman around. He's growing on us like Haley Bieber did on Justin. Here's Carolyn Shepard saying, I was just watching Nino Amanda Grace, who's written her first book, Surprise. I'm not sure who those people are, but
I am.
It might be related. Did you ever see Mike pregnant? No, I've never seen Haley pregnant either. Liz Marchant, yeah, definitely wow. And then finally, here's something girl saying, she's sounding like a sarcastic to throw off the scent of brimstone. Ooh, good point. That's a good angle. Never thought about that. Okay, well, here's something else here. Well, apparently the Kennedy Center's open. And Sean, what is the Kennedy Center for maybe people outside of the country? What has that been historically? Is it just a concert hall that's attended by the President of the United States once a year?
I I don't know if it's only attended by the president once a year. My understanding was that it was a venue of some sort.
Yeah, and it was renovated recently. Well, guess what? Trump was being booed at the Kennedy Center. Meanwhile, some people were walking in who weren't being booed. Well, yeah, you guessed it. The drag queens, they're back. How do you like them apples, the drag queen apple? That's pretty disgusting, isn't it, Sean? We're not for that around here, are we? You thought it was the other
No,
way around? Go
no,
ahead,
I
tell me.
mean, there have always been drag queens here and there in entertainment or what have you, but it's kind of being used as a political and a social weapon these days to undermine the traditional family and traditional values, and to change the culture, starting with kids.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, I want to switch hats now. Speaking of potions, well, there's another potion that many Americans are totally getting addicted to, and that's Ozempic. Marnie, just how bad is Ozempic? Or I should say, because now the addiction seems to be taking process. It's being subsidized by the government. It's being included in Medicare, Medicaid. Is there Ozempic just craze and fever, or do you think we're
Yeah.
at the tail end of discovery?
Well, they say with people that have trouble losing weight, it's addictive like tattoos are to people. You know how people get one and then they want another and they want another. It's an addiction. And the problem with the Ozempic is it is designed to shut down a major muscle in your stomach that is used for digestion. It becomes paralyzed. So when you eat, that food literally sits in your stomach for like a week to 10 days, and it literally becomes moldy.
Well, Sean, this is why I'm worried about men. Men, if you're watching this now, this is a men's kind of deal here. And Sean, I hope to God you don't take Ozempic, and I know you don't, but you never know these days. But if you do, you got to be careful because they have something now called Ozempic penis. Someone says, I'm suffering from Ozempic penis, the latest bizarre side effect caused by the weight loss drug. Sean, pay attention just in case you have friends. Well, let me tell you about this now. Gaining inches on Ozempic isn't what dieters want to experience. That's unless the growth is occurring below the belt. An increase in penis size is something advertised as a side effect, but it seems to be the case. Sean, just when you thought just the allure of losing weight is why you want to take Ozempic, now you're going to have men who want a bigger a American Johnson there. They're going to be taking the Ozempic too. I mean, just how dangerous is this for the male anatomy? Sean Gregorian of Connecticut.
Yeah,
Don't get too excited there.
I think with
Go
that
ahead,
side
Sean.
effect, I could hear the stock soaring as we speak. But no, I mean, anything like that alters your body, even in a seemingly positive way like that, is, I mean, there's got to be some other health consequences to that. I mean, taking drugs or surgery, I never wanted to go down that route. I used, the natural route of diet and exercise, and I had success. So I mean, you don't need a drug or surgery to alter your body that way. It could
And
do
the real
irreversible damage,
it is unreal. Now Seth Black says, give me Ozempic. Marnie, I want to resort to you here. Is this now going to be popular in women's circles? I mean, maybe it
Oh
might
God,
be
I
with the
hope
guy
not.
who. I mean, but is it?
It's like
Isn't this now?
anything else. They're going to sell it on you're going to lose weight and your dick's going to get bigger. And they're going to forget to tell you that you're not going to be able to digest food. You're going to be the size of a scarecrow. Your face is going to blow up. And those are just little side effects, don't worry. And who knows what it's
Okay.
doing to sterility? I mean, everything else is designed to depopulate. There could
We
be
have some
little
people.
vices going in there, just locking things down. Who knows?
That's a
Especially with that
very,
area.
very good point. We have something girl who says if you took Ozempic for male enhancement, you could be entitled for financial compensation.
Right?
That's
Consequences. There's no free lunch.
Hey, just for the record here, ladies, Sean Gregorian and myself, we don't need Ozempic. All right,
Thank
let's just
you.
make that clear.
Thank you.
All right, and to prove it, Sean's
I don't
gonna.
know how you know that, Dean, but thank you.
Well, that's a very good question. That's now going to lead us into something that's very, very interesting here. Well, we're gonna, as we're kind of winding down here, as we get to Ozempic here, we have to have a talk now about beards. Is now there's a new study out as people are speaking of how dirty beards really truly are. And they're saying the truth may surprise you. Now, I'm assuming they're talking about the beards on men and not bearded women or anything else. But in this case, I think they mean men in this case. They're saying the human skin is home to billions of microorganisms, many bacteria, but also fungi, viruses, and all the rest. Well, and facial hair provides a unique opportunity and an environment for that fact for them to thrive. Now, research shows that beards in particular support a diverse micro population, which is fueled in persistent belief that they're inherently unhygienic. I mean, they're called flavor savers for a reason, right, ladies? Well, the microbes thrive not just because they're warm, moist condition beards provide, but also because constant exposure to new contaminants, microbes, especially from hands that frequently touch surfaces and the face. Yikes. And the same study also reported that bearded doctors were less likely to carry some of these major fungal infections in people in the medical community. But it doesn't seem to be a problem for guys with beards. And let's just talk about this. Sean, you and I were talking about it before the show here earlier, that the beard trend has really been a thing since like 2005, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. I see guys with the big beards all the time. Is this a bunch of phooey, Sean? And let's take a look at your beard here too while you're giving us your take on it.
It's not much of a beard. I keep it kind of close, and I wash it regularly.
Okay, Sean, we're talking about facial hair and beards. I don't know where you're going with this, but let's try to stay on topic here.
Oh, you know, at first I thought you were talking about fake girlfriends to make someone look straight, but I had to kind of
Marnie,
you know?
Marnie, this is a good point, and I'm glad Sean brought this up. Let's talk about why Sean's glowing lately. Sean has been dating, and let's give him the right tips. And I think him not having a beard is it's a foot forward, is it not? Because you're not a fan of the beards, are you?
I am not a fan of the beard. The only beard that I like is the playoff beard. That's it, and it's gone as soon as the Stanley Cup's over.
The playoff beard. Now, why are beards? Why do women like beards? Let's ask that before we. What is the attraction? Is it because does it show how manly we are, how we're ready to protect the family, the community, and go to war? Like OK Corral, or what is the appeal, or what do your girlfriends say why they like beards?
Well, my daughter's boyfriend has a beard. I don't like beards. I like the baby face.
And you let him in the house with all that bacteria in his beard?
Well,
wow. Here we have Blue Sky saying Sean has a goatee better than a beard.
Yes.
Really? Is that what the ladies say, Sean? Is it? I always figured it tickles women, and that's why they like men to have facial hair. Is that true, Sean?
Well, some like the tickle, some don't like the tickle. I was talking to a friend yesterday who said that she can't take any man with a naked face seriously. I've heard other women say that they can't stand facial hair on a man. So I don't know. There's mixed reviews. It's confusing.
I like a little bit of stubble. That's all. Just a little bit of stubble. And don't take that the wrong way, too.
Well, Sean, here we have Claudine saying some want to look old. Short beards are okay. We have Dame Pam, short beards are okay, but I like the mustache more. Let's talk about the mustache. What about the mustache, is that less than a beard? I don't know. That's a good question. We need that Sean clip from that statement later. Seth, believe me, tonight we have a lot of clips for Sean. We're set for the year after tonight. We have Carolyn who says, I'm not a fan of beards. No, and neither am I, believe it or not. So
I never ever dated a guy that had a beard or a mustache ever.
Me neither.
Whisker rubs. Yeah. Bald lives matter. That's right. And mustaches too. 1970s. But I thought Tom Selleck was a big babe for the women. Okay. We have Belinda
hold on
who's saying.
Let's talk about the most legendary mustache of all time is Sam Elliott. Okay, I think he was above Tom Selleck.
Good point. Okay, we have the Sam Elliott lobbyist here. We have Belinda saying, Sean, you're looking like very musketeerish there. Yes, he is. You know what? Yes, he is. He's looking very musketeerish there. Yes, he is. He likes to play. There's a lot of sword fighting there. Okay, here's Dame Pam saying, I think mustache makes a man look handsome, kissable, and clean or clan, like the cake. He's from the clan and needy trimmed. Very clan-like of you there. We have film, TV, biz, the handlebar mustache, AT. Yes, that's what I'm going for. Sam Elliott. We have Kim. Kim is turned on over there in San Diego. There you have it. And Liz Merchant. She's turned on over there in Australia with the mention of Sam Elliott. Is that like a real man? Am I missing something about Sam Elliott, Marnie?
Who is Sam Elliott? I have no idea.
Oh, no.
Sword fighting. Go ahead and pull it up, Sean. Pull it up.
Oh, that's right. You're Canadian. I forgot.
That's right.
He's
and blonde.
He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy. Okay. Sean's going to figure that out. Men in tights. Yeah. Where do we fall with men in tights? That's a good question. I don't know if do women like men in tights? I mean, Jim Morrison was, okay.
Also applies to the man pre. We don't do man pre's either.
Interesting. Okay. We have one more segment coming up here, but we are going to take this network break, and Sean's going to be leading us in on the next phase here. Stand by here. We're going to have our last musical segment as a tribute is just around the corner. Jim, you want to change your vote? You can still do it at this time.
No, I want to say we have a wonderful pizza place here called Sugar River Pizza, and they've got specialty pizzas that are to die for. I want to mention two in particular. One called ricotta, be kidding me, red sauce, pepperoni, sausage, whipped herb, ricotta, and oregano, and kicking horse for alarm. Red sauce, pepperoni, sausage, jalapenos, red onion, pepper jack. Those are two unbelievably good pizzas.
Well, the music world lost a giant, Brian Wilson. He died at the age of 82. He was obviously a mainstream success with many hits. Aside being the writer of Beach Boys songs, he wrote songs for other artists like Jan and Dean. And he wasn't just a mainstream success, but he was kind of an eccentric outsider artist in a way. Dealt with mental illness like a lot of creative geniuses have. So to honor his legacy of Brian Wilson, Dean Ryan's going to play the classic In My Room.
There's a world where I can go to tell my secrets to in my room. In my room. In my room. lock and all my worries and my fears in my room, in my room, in my room. Do my dreaming and my scheming like I pray all day. I do my crying and my sighing and laugh back yesterday. Now it's dark and I am alone and I won't be afraid. And in my room, and in my room, in my room, and in my room, and in my room, in my room. In my room. Brian Wilson, what a legend! What a legend! All right, everybody, let's. I want to thank. I want to thank Sean. I want to thank Rebel Mama for being here tonight, and also the legendary Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, a huge influence on Sean and myself, of course. And we're going to end it there. I want to thank everybody for being here. What a twist of events here. A lot of topsy-turvy moments this whole week has provided. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So for Sean, for Marnie, I'm Dean Ryan, and thank you for sharing a bit of your night here in my room. Until next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. It is still a world at war. Good night, everybody.
Having an affair with this guy, he even admitted to the operator that it was a friend.